Well, they finally admitted it. The film industry is cooked. We've all basically been laid off, and things are never going to be the same. Hello world, nice to see you again. I am back here again to talk about the decline and fall of the film industry and the film production sector. As I have previously talked about on this channel, the jobs have dried up. The rates are not increasing. The strike last year, while for a good cause, was, I don't think, effective. I think that the corporations agreed to the terms of the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild. They agreed to the terms and then basically exported all of the jobs abroad. I support unions. I support the WGA and the SAG. I support what they did. They have to look out for themselves. They are not greenlighting shows. They are not renewing a lot of shows for second or third seasons. We've seen a huge influx of that. A lot of businesses are cutting back on advertising. Paramount has been bought, and a whole slew of other things that just show how the industry is extremely disjointed right now, and that a lot of things are changing, and the way that we knew the industry to work, as young as it is, an ever-evolving, ever-changing thing, and the industry that I and a lot of other people like me worked in for the past, for me it's been 9 years, is no longer. So we have an article by the Los Angeles Times today that we're going to be looking at. Hollywood veterans get brutally honest about mentoring the next generation amid industry turmoil. There wasn't a lot of mentorship to begin with, and then now it's even more so like, because a lot of the upper echelon people on set, the directors of photography or cinematographers, producer, production managers, they're just trying to keep their own heads above water. They're trying to make sure their stuff is good. So they're not really like bringing people up, giving people higher positions, you know? If you're not besties with a department head, it's unlikely that you're gonna move up. Like, of course, it does happen for some people, but if someone who's in a higher position doesn't really like you and wants to help you specifically, or you're not related to them, or they're not your uncle, or they're not some, you're kind of screwed. It's not really a straight answer to why this is happening, but there's a couple different things. Like, I saw this video recently on Instagram that talked about Paramount and how much money they have lost in the past year. And now we see people online all the time talking about, we don't want remakes, we don't want more Marvel movies, we want creative movies, we want to see experimental stuff. Most movies these days that big companies want to invest in are the Marvel movies, are the movies that can go to China, are the movies that have mass appeal, that they can make hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars on it back. They don't see that anything else is worth making, right? Don't get me wrong, we have distributors like A24. I have watched lower tier, mid-tier movies in theaters and stuff like that. So they are still getting made, but that is not the primary goal.
So Lionsgate has had 13 releases this calendar year. Not a single one of these movies, Joe, has gone over 50 million at the worldwide box office. The movies that Lionsgate has released this year so far have collectively lost $692 million.
Therefore, it's no surprise that they were the first studio to announce a partnership with this AI firm, Runway, that's going to create proprietary AI movie-making technology, that is incredibly disappointing. But on the other hand, this is just the first one. Every single studio is going to come out with their version of this in the next year.
They offered all of their employees this week, Lionsgate offered all of their employees a voluntary buyout, aka severance, as the studio restructures, and they're citing a disrupted business environment, aka all of our movies flopped big time.
So as you can see, the movie studios, they don't get it. They don't care. The film studios are not run by creatives. They're not run by filmmakers. They're not run by artistes. They're run by accountants. They don't understand art. They don't understand what people want to see. They don't even care. All they care about is shareholders. All they care about is getting their 5th or 6th yacht. All they care about is getting a vacation property in a country that they visit only once every 3 years. I'm not trying to be pretentious when I say, but the art is suffering. The truth is that film and television is the most consumed art by the public. And so we have these accountants just destroying this very lucrative industry that, if they did things the right way, could grow. This is not saying that trying to make money is bad or evil or something like that. You could make more money if you did it better, but no, they don't care about doing it better. If they cannot make $1 billion back on a film, then they don't want to make that film. Another thing that's destroying the industry is not just corporate CEOs. So somebody wrote, or you could hire real filmmakers, right? Because they, like the guy said, that they bought out their employees and they're going to replace them with AI. So this guy says, or you could hire real filmmakers, 35 likes. And then I commented this, and this is a result of who you know and doing everyone a fucking favor. It's not about who is the best and most passionate. This industry is built so strongly on nepotism. I came across this post on TikTok that shows that this is even happening in the fashion industry. It plays off of a trending meme that's going on TikTok right now. I lied, put your clothes back on. We will talk about how crazy nepotism in modeling currently is, how millions of very hardworking, truly beautiful women don't get an access even to castings because all big jobs are pre-reserved for who we all know. You literally don't even get to see the job. And for me, it is so rare for me to work on any narrative project. I lived in New York and I worked on narrative projects so rarely. And when I say narrative, for those who don't know, that's like movies or television shows. There's so many of them that are recorded in New York. You cannot get on those jobs if you don't know somebody who's on those jobs, because they're not posted on any groups. They're not posted in any subs. They're not posted in any job listing, emails. They're just not there. You have to know someone to work on those jobs. It shows that we're getting older. Like these days, you cannot watch a film without seeing the son of somebody, the daughter of somebody. Like I just did my Blink Twice review. The film was written, directed, produced by Zoe Kravitz, who's the son of Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet, right? Just Saw The Substance, right? Margaret Qualley is in the movie, and I don't forget who her mother is, but her mother's also a famous actress, right? And so it's like every movie that you see is a famous actor, actress's son, is somebody's nephew, is somebody's cousin. I was two weeks ago years old when I realized that Greta Gerwig, the writer, director, and probably producer, I believe, of the Barbie movie, her husband is a famous director who was a famous director before she got into the business. She was up and coming into the business when she met him, and then she got married to him, and he was married to another actress, which is chronicled in the movie Marriage Story. He made the movie Marriage Story about his life. Well, she's married to him, and after being with him, she became like a lead actress in a Woody Allen film, and we know that Woody Allen is a classic, iconic director. And me saying this is probably gonna piss people off in my comments, like, how dare you talk about her? She's earned everything. This is unmitigated, unrestrained nepotism run amok. Everything about this business is doing somebody a fucking favor. Everybody is the son of, the daughter of, the cousin of, the nephew of, and it's not about who's the best, who is most passionate, who has the most unique ideas. It's about relationships. That means that they're giving millions and millions and millions of dollars to so-and-so's cousin's nephew, sister's daughter to make movies that then flop. And I talked about, in my reviews about how, certain actors don't feel like they have to practice anymore when they get to that level. And it's the same thing. Like, people think just because they're the kid of somebody, they're the daughter of somebody, that they don't need to go to film school, that they don't need to take a writing class or something like that, or study art. Like, as I'm up here like screaming into a microphone about the passion I feel about this film industry, behind it is literally thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably, my math is off, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of hours of watching movies, rewatching them, watching shows, reading about the history. Anytime I watch a movie that's mildly interesting, I'm on Wikipedia, I'm reading about the production, I'm reading articles about how it got made, I'm reading stuff about how the director came up with it, watching the movies 2, 3, 4 times, okay, going and seeing them in theaters, studying other art to understand references, watching old movies, on some Tarantino. I'm not saying I'm the next Tarantino, but like Quentin Tarantino, you know that man loves movies. You know that this is his like living, breathing thing. And they're giving the right to make movies to people who don't really fucking care that much and are not very good at it. That's just the facts. I just started watching the show Unreasonable Doubt because I've seen so many people talk about it. It's a black show. It's produced by Kerry Washington. I'm watching it because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it because I see a lot of people talking about it and I don't want to feel left out. And sometimes I just need something to watch that I don't even really care about, not invested in. And it's just like the writing is just so not good, man. The writing is not good. The actors, I can't tell if they can act well or not because the writing is so bad that it's like everything's like oh sister girl, like it's just not good. And the lead actress, I feel bad for her because she's actually great. She's doing the best as she can. It's just so much stuff that's like that. I'm like, why is the writing so bad on everything? And I know there's gonna be people that come on this video like the way that they came on my other video talking about the film industry, talking about, oh, Hollywood is so woke and all this kind of stuff. I'm not gonna be able to change a mind like yours. It's not about being woke. Like I have talked about with the Barbie movie, is it woke or is it true? There's a fine line here. You have to write it well. Like Barbie was not well written. This conversation is so nuanced, but not that award shows mean anything, but the fact that it didn't win any Oscars or anything, they was all Pikachu face like, it's not a well-written movie if you have to beat people over the head with the message. I just watched the movie Never Let Go. I thought the movie was gonna be bad. Like, I thought it was gonna be like your typical one location, cabin in the woods horror, which it was, but it had like actual some layers to it. The messaging was like, you know, generational trauma and like blind faith and just like listening to things just because your parents told you and not like trying to forge your own way. And like it had like a lot of layers to it. It didn't just tell you like this is what the movie's about. And so then we have that other problem of like audiences who don't want to use like a half a brain cell just to think about a movie past what the movie has to tell them. Like, yeah, some people are so, I'm not gonna say they're stupid, but some people are just like, they don't want to have to think when a movie, they just want to know what a movie is about and then go on about their day. Okay, I don't think that that's most people. And by most, I mean like over 50%. I think most people are interested to having like some kind of like wondering a little bit about like, how can I think about this a little bit more? Basic point of everything, this little rant that I'm going on, y'all need to get back to the heart of movie making. It's people telling stories that's passionate about them. Directors that have a story to tell in their own selves to the world. My last short film, Primal Fear, was about the anxieties of being a woman in a man's world. Like, it was for a horror film contest, and I tried to think of what is scary to people, you know, what is my fears, and then it became what is my fear to what is a fear a lot of women have, being taken advantage of, being harmed by a man. Like, that's just true. Like, you see a man walking in the darkness, you know, you're walking down an alley, you see a man in a trench coat walking, you're scared, you're walking down a dark street, a man walking behind you kind of fast, it scares you, okay? And that's why the movie is called Primal Fear, because it is primal within women to have this fear. And so I made the short film about a woman's fear of being too nice to someone who's actually a predator. Like, that is literally what the movie is about, which if you have not seen it yet, please, it'll be linked below. Go to my Poseidon Films channel and check it out. My next film, The Taking, is about a revenge story from some drama that happened in my life recently, also mixed in with the anger I felt in this capitalist world, not being able to be married and have children and stuff. Being a filmmaker takes a lot of courage. And I'm not saying that someone who's wealthy or connected cannot have these things, but it's clearly not happening. Like, y'all are making stuff that's not connecting with people. Y'all are making stuff that's not good. We need to get back to the heart of filmmaking, which is telling stories that real people can relate to. That's not what's happening right now. They're giving freaking $50 million to someone's cousin, someone's friend. These accountants, they think, oh, well, you know, we just put some famous person in it and then everything will be fine. This affects the industry in so many ways. My recent review about It Ends With Us, the stuff with Blake Lively, she didn't give a good goddamn about DV. She wanted to make some money. She knew that there was going to be a lot of press for this because it already had a fan base. And she said, fucking cut the check. I don't give a damn about women getting knocked upside the head. A black woman getting murdered every 5.5 hours. 90% of the time it's a domestic violence situation. I don't give a damn about them bitches. Everyone doesn't get into film or acting or directing or producing because they have a passion for filmmaking, for storytelling, for art, like literal art. Some people get into this because their family is in it. Some people get into this because they live in California. And then there's the other people who do it for money only. All the good looking people that are just too good looking that they can't not be on camera, right? You're too beautiful not to be photographed or be on video. There's a lot of them in the industry too. And then there's people who are in it because they're narcissists. They need the attention, they need the accolades, they want to be seen, they want to feel valued and loved because that's not how they felt growing up. There's a lot of us in the industry that's like that, okay? And there's varying degrees of it. There could be a little bit or it could be a lot, where you get to like P. Diddy level. I'm sorry, I went on this whole long ass rant because, you know, I don't have anyone to really talk to about this stuff, so y'all gonna have to hear it. Sit down. Anyway, the whole point, this industry is cooked, and it's because it's full of people that should not be in it. Whoa, that is the fucking punchline right there. That is the log line. The industry is cooked because it's full of people that should not be in it. Most of y'all don't give a fuck about storytelling. What was that? Whoa, who told you to do that? What is going... Wait, who was telling you to do this? The industry is full of people who should not be in it for all kinds of weird ass reasons. The industry wants to gatekeep. No, y'all need to gatekeep people that are really not passionate about film and art out the fucking industry. Not gatekeeping so that your cousin and your friend that's fucking insecure and has not had enough tension that they can become a director, or your fucking person who needs money, or your fucking friend who's like beautiful and airheaded so she can get her first role in a movie so everyone can know. I'm sick of it, okay? Hollywood veterans get brutally honest about mentoring next generation amid industry turmoil. All right, in this picture we have film and TV editor Deandra Kendall Luzin said that she feels an obligation to speak truth to facts when it comes to launching a career in the entertainment industry right now. I wouldn't dissuade anybody, she said. I tend to be more optimistic in general, but I definitely would be realistic too. I am not a dream crusher, okay? I remember when I worked as a director's assistant and I told him an idea for a feature, one of my first features I wanted to make. He literally told me, that is the most horrible idea I have ever heard. If I'm lying, I'm dying. This man who I was working with, who was to be mentoring me, and who I was supposed to be looking up to, told me that my feature film idea was a horrible idea. I would never say something like that to somebody. Even if it was bad, I will say, you know what? Oh, that does sound interesting. You know, I'd be interested to hear you flush that idea out more. Okay, that's a little nice nasty. But what I will say is what I always say. You want to be a filmmaker? Make films. Fuck all this political shit that you see what I'm going through. Stay off this Hollywood shit. That I will say. With the entertainment industry currently struggling amid a contraction, job opportunities remain scarce. Some Hollywood training programs and mentorship groups have been reevaluating their approach as production levels remain low. Despite all the industry turmoil, longtime performers and craftspeople say they are committed as ever to helping the next generation succeed. This spring, applicants vying for a spot in the Art Directors Guild Production Design Initiative, a program that offers mentorship and on-the-job training to future production designers and art directors, received a troubling email. The message from the initiative's leadership team said that due to historic and unprecedented circumstances within the entertainment industry, the program would be suspended until 2025. Because of these circumstances, there is even less of an opportunity for employment with the entertainment industry at this time, read an excerpt of the email first obtained by IndieWire. Given the situation, we cannot in good conscience encourage you to pursue our profession while so many of our members remain unemployed. At least they're being fucking honest. And I imagine that it's probably even worse for them. I've been on so many productions that do not even have art. They will rent a nice Airbnb for the commercial, for the ad, for the reality TV dinner scene, whatever. They'll rent an Airbnb that's already really nice. So that means they're not hiring no props. They're not hiring no art designer, no set designer. Quiet as it's kept, I've actually done set design as a production assistant, and not only did I dress the entire set, as in we needed to look something like this, Here's our credit card. Now, don't get me wrong. It was kind of fun. Like, I liked it. Like, no shade to y'all. I love y'all. But y'all know what y'all did. I was at Home Goods. I was at Target buying chairs, pillows, blankets, plants. And I'm sure that they hired a girl because they knew this was going to have to happen. Because I was the only female on the entire crew. I picked out the girl's costume that she wore on TV. Oh, a major show. I did the fucking set design. That was me. And I know I'm not going to get credit for it. It's no secret that the entertainment industry is struggling. Contrary to workers' hopes, film and TV production just hasn't roared back in the wake of last year's writers and actors strikes. Job opportunities remain scarce as studios attempt to recoup their losses from the streaming wars by slashing staff and production. Honestly, it feels like I've been laid off. I'm on part of so many job boards, so many groups, so many this, like, they're just not there. They're just not popping up. And now, because so many people are out of work, the companies have the pick of the litter. And I think probably a lot of them that are still running are just picking people that they know. Nepotism run amok. We're not even going to put the job post out there if we know people who are like really desperate right now. As a result of challenges in the workforce, some prominent industry training programs have pulled back. Since Hollywood's inception, the tricks of the entertainment trades have passed down largely through hands-on instruction and word of mouth. Many aspiring performers, creatives, and craftspeople have broken into the business with the help of mentors enthusiastic about sharing their industry connections and institutional knowledge. But the current employment crisis has forced Hollywood veterans, many of whom haven't seen steady work in several months, to get brutally honest about encouraging newcomers to pursue their dreams. I tell mentees that the industry is not the industry it was when I joined over 12 years ago. So Ariel Kaplan, a 35-year-old production designer based in Silver Lake. So me and her are the same age, roughly. Okay, she started when she was 23. Okay, I started when I was 25. Trying to make it so they are not blindsided is so much more important to me than trying to protect their feelings. Good job, girl. I've talked about how I've received so much bad advice working in this business, like being a production assistant and whatnot. The industry was not the same that it was, she said, 12 years ago. It's not the same that it was 9 years ago for me in 2015. And all the bad advice that I got since 2015, the industry was not the same that it was when those people. So all the people that were giving me bad advice, I'm 34. They're probably like in their 40s now, early to mid 40s. I was 25. They were 35, 37, 38, those type of ages. They were giving me bad advice back then in 2015. So then that means that the industry wasn't even the same in 2015 as it was in 2005 when they got into it. Even me, who has been doing this for 9 years, I still don't understand all the mechanism of this industry. I still don't understand how it fully works, how certain jobs fully work, how certain people do what, because it's always changing. Each job to job, it's a different thing. You have more duties on this one, less duties on this one, more money on this one, less on this one. There are some really shady, nefarious things I believe that's going on. I ain't gonna talk about it in this video. It's so much going on. It's like so hard to even understand. You have to do so much research before you get involved in this shit. Deandra Kendall Luzin, a film and TV editor who has driven for Uber, like your girl has been doing so much delivery, please kill me now, and recently sold her record collection to stay afloat, found the ADG's decision to suspend its training program both alarming and validating. Okay, so it's not just me, said Luzin, who lives in Inglewood with her 2-year-old son. These things are happening to everybody, and it's worse than I thought. ADG National Executive Director Chuck Parker and President Nelson Coates said in a joint statement to The Times that the email was sent in error, right, had not been edited, right, and did not accurately convey the labor organization's stance, right. The Guild's position is that the program was postponed to focus on contract negotiations that took place this year between the larger crew members union, IATSE, and the studios. This labor movement, alongside our peers and colleagues, only strengthens our excitement for the future of the industry. Why are y'all lying? Why are they lying? Y'all are actively replacing people with AI. You're laying people off at lightning speed. Literally the frog in the pot, man. They just lie, turn the heat up until you're fucking on fire. All these hundreds of thousands of tech layoffs this year. the longshoremen going on strike, the fact that the U.S. government is refusing to say that we are in a recession, when all of us know that we are. We're being evicted. Our cars are being taken. We can't afford to have a procedure done. We can't afford groceries. We're eating ramen. Like, we all know what's going on. Why do they keep lying? What do they have to gain from lying? Oh, I guess so people don't riot. That might be why. Women in Film, a nonprofit organization that provides mentorship and networking opportunities for women, non-binary, and trans people, launched the latest version of its fellowship program right before writers went on strike for 148 days. During the work stoppage, certain professionals participating in the program, such as writers and entertainment executives, weren't allowed to talk business with each other, disrupting a key valve in the organization's pipeline. Financing companies declined to meet with producing fellows seeking funding for their films while the industry remained on hold. We still made it work, said Kiko James, Senior Director of Programs at Women in Film, but what we saw clearly through last year was that there wasn't going to be as much happening in terms of active work and hiring. The organization admitted fewer fellows this year, 60 instead of 87, in part because the lack of employment has persisted. Next year's fellowship class will also be capped to around 60 to avoid spreading the Women in Film network too thin, James said. Nonetheless, she still encourages people to apply. Because we don't believe that the creation of film and television is going to cease, James said, and as long as there are stories being made and told, we want our participants to have access and the ability to work in that space. Yeah, it must be so hard for them. It must be so hard for the production designers, the props, the art director people. I've worked on enough productions where they just pick out a nice Airbnb that's already decorated, and maybe the producer goes and buys something. They send a PA to go pick out a couple things. They're not paying no set designer or anything to do this stuff. Warner Brothers Discovery typically reopens the application portal for its Access to Action program, which gives industry newcomers a pathway to entry-level below-the-line jobs. Once a year. Y'all are not shit. But the studio opted to keep it closed this summer because of the production slowdown, reasoning that it wouldn't have been fair to bring in a whole new candidate pool when we hadn't really had an opportunity to provide those jobs. What candidate pool? You have so many people that are already working in this that need help, man. There's so many PAs that I know that have been PAing for years, looking to move up, or at least have consistent work. You're just trying to bring in new dummies. Not all up-and-coming entertainment professionals enroll in training programs. Many tips, skills, and job opportunities are simply exchanged from person to person through a sort of informal apprenticeship model. When 54-year-old grip Paul Giacalone launched his career in the 1990s, his brother showed him the ropes and taught him how to be respectful and gain respect through that process. Giacalone recalled working alongside old-timers who would tell him, "Kid, get out," because the grip life was not what it used to be. But it's provided a great life for my family and myself, said Giacalone, who lives in the Conejo Valley. And I still get excited to see the younger people that are starting. A grip excited? That sounds funny. When the lights turn on in their head and they see something that they didn't previously see. Following in his brother's footsteps, Giacalone says he has always been compelled to give back and tutor incoming craftspeople. Above all, he hopes to impart good safety habits. That is probably the predominant reason for wanting to mentor people, is to help them understand the way to do things properly. Jessica Lee, a model and actor known for her work on Deal or No Deal, benefited from a mentor who helped her navigate difficult situations, such as being asked without warning to appear nude in a music video or working on set without adequate seating, water, or food. Lee paid it forward by urging aspiring performers to nurture their talents. When someone caught the acting bug, Lee said she would light up and want to share the fairy dust with them. When I used to mentor, I was so excited and so impassioned about things, said model and actor Jessica Lee. Now I feel like there's more honesty about some of these less glamorous aspects about the industry that I definitely share with people because I don't want to misguide them. This industry is not glamorous. Sometimes it's literally back-breaking work. I was on set the other day. I was supposed to lift this big-ass heavy cooler. I said, no, I have a hernia. I'm sorry. I can't. So we got to figure out another plan. It's mostly not glamorous. And that's the whole thing. I wanted to kind of put this point in another video, but this, I'll put it at the end. Because I really want other filmmakers or people working in the film biz to ask themselves a very important question. Lately, however, Lee feels obligated to warn her mentees that they probably won't be able to make a living off of performing alone. It never was all glitz and glamour and easy, Lee said. Half the job is making it look glamorous, but nowadays it's even harder with the lack of work. I think a lot of people will be okay with doing this part-time, but because of the need for a completely flexible schedule, it's like not possible. Other regular jobs are not flexible. They need you every single fucking day in the office on time. Bro, I be feeling like I'm living 200 years behind where I should be living. If I don't come in one day, your entire business is gonna crumble and fail. Like, there's no flexibility with regular jobs, and that's a fucking problem. So you can't even do both. Allison D. Moore, a 63-year-old Foley artist practically born into show business as the daughter of character actor Alvy Moore, cut her teeth in the late 1970s and early 80s, assisting the sound teams on classic shows such as Dallas and Falcon Crest. One of her earliest mentors was Kitty Malone, whom Moore described as a petite former dancer who overcame industry sexism and provided that female Foley artists were capable of making some serious noise. I like that. Foley artist Allison D. Moore said she tries to stay positive when mentoring young people because she doesn't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth, she adds. Maybe they'll change the industry. Maybe they'll remember that someone was nice to them. And maybe it'll change it somehow. I think that's actually awesome because I have gone through hell in this industry. And yeah, I'm mad. I am mad and I am bitter about it. I've gone through absolute hell.
Let me just say something to you guys. In the world of diversity, in the world of young, upcoming filmmakers that are trying to actually make an impact inside of this industry that has never, ever given us a chance. Understand, when you see a young black and brown filmmaker make a movie, he has had to go through hell. He or she has had to literally go through hell to make whatever movie is that you're looking at that people then criticize. We don't get the backing. We don't get distribution. We don't have studios looking for us. So you have to become Dion. You have to go make it. And you have to make sure you make it again and you make it again until people understand that you're here for real. Whenever you can meet people that become allies, because this is not about color anymore. This is about like-minded people. Let's make a difference between black and white. That's not it. It's about like-minded people, people that believe in each other.
Women have it bad in this industry. And being non-white woman has it extra super bad. That has put me to be the change that I want to see in industry. My sets are small. They're no budget. We don't have anything. But I want to be the difference maker. I have to be the difference maker. Moore, based in Sherman Oaks, has honored Malone's legacy by welcoming and linking arms with other women in her trade. As a member of Warner Brothers' in-house sound team, she often gives demonstrations to students who visit the Foley stage on the Burbank studio lot, eager to learn everything there is to know about the craft. You just have to put on that happy face and know that it's not about me at that point. It's about them. I really try not to discourage people. I'm not going to be the one to take that dream away from you. And that's beautiful. Never, ever, ever take that dream away from somebody. And anyone watching this who's aspiring to be a filmmaker, don't let this discourage you. You don't need these fucking jerk-offs, these accountants, slimy sleazeball salesmen to tell you what kind of artist you are, to tell you if you're worthy. All you need is a freaking camera of any kind and an internet connection and a YouTube or Vimeo account. That's all you need. There's a quote from the show 90 Day Fiancé. This Brazilian girl, she was married to this much older American white man who was trying to get her to sign a prenup where she wasn't going to get anything in the prenup. And you know what she said? Men's don't control me. And that shit stuck with me ever since. Okay? Do not let these people control you. They cannot take your art away. You. Yes, you. Everything that you've been through in your life. Everything that you grew up with, it all led you to being the person that you are now. All those films that your mom or your dad or your grandpa or your uncle put you down to watch. Okay, your aunt taking you to the movies every Saturday, being adopted, all right, being beaten, being R-worded, okay, being essayed, okay, growing up in the system. Maybe there was a time in your teens that you became a delinquent, that you hung out with the wrong crowd. All of that has led you to having your own story. All the things that you've been through in your life have led you to want this story. Your mom left, your dad left, your grandma died from cancer who raised you. You have a story. And there's a whole bunch of people in this industry that don't have a fucking creative bone in their body trying to tell you that you're not good enough, that you can't do this, that you can't do that. No, you can tell a story. You don't need them. Like I said, all you need is a camera, the phone that you're watching me on, or the laptop, and an internet connection. And you can tell a story. You don't need any of this shit. And don't let these other people tell you otherwise. The other people that are like you, the rest of the people who want to step into someone else's life, learn about somebody else anew, we're asking you, we're begging you to build up the courage to tell your own story, to write it down, to record it, to get a crew together in your city and tell that story. We want to see it. We're here to watch. We want you to get it off your chest and show us what it was like for you, or how your trauma has influenced you, how your studying of art has influenced you. Maybe it was everyone in your whole life told you that you wasn't going to be shit, and that one teacher that one art teacher in 3rd grade saw something in you and encouraged you. Like, let's see it. Let it come out. Don't let none of this shit, none of this bullshit going on in this industry tell you that you can't make something, that you can't tell a story. When actor, stunt performer, and filmmaker Lisa Katara's former high school inducted her into its Hall of Fame and invited her to address the student's body in 2020, her beaming pride was tempered by a sense of profound uncertainty. It was, after all, the year the after 18 pandemics shut down production. Little did Katara, who recently relocated from Los Angeles to Atlanta, know how bad things would get just a few years later. It's growing increasingly hard to maintain optimism, Katara said, but I still do believe that anything is possible. Don't let anything going on in this industry discourage you. As for filmmakers who are struggling in this industry right now, who are barely above water, who we all feel like we've been laid off, as someone who's been in an abusive relationship, this to me feels like a toxic relationship. And I want you to look inside yourself and see if it feels like that for you, and that you may need to pivot in some way. Is there some way that you can show the art of art designing in a different way? Or show it online in a different way, or like how people shop, or like interior design in your own place, or helping someone interior design or something? Like, is there any way you can pivot that in some way? If you can create content, even artistic content, somehow showing, I don't know. I feel like if we really think about it, this industry is reflective of any other job or any other time. It's mostly grueling. It's mostly backbreaking, time consuming. The pay can be quite great. It can be pretty damn good. I ain't gonna lie. But it's inconsistent. You're basically making as much as anyone else is when it's inconsistent, when it's 1 job a month, 2 jobs a month. You're making the same as anyone else, or could be below the poverty line. Like, really ask yourself about this relationship that you might have developed with the industry. This toxic relationship where it's really great, and then it's really, really bad. It's really inconsistent. You don't hear from it. You always have to be fake. You always got to kiss ass. You always got to schmooze and do all this stuff just to get that high feeling. And this is another deep thing. This is very deep, okay? This career choice is kind of a reflection of my life traumas. I'm always jumping from job to job, the same way I moved around from here to there, to there, to there, to there, to there, moving around all the time. The inconsistency. Think about how your life possibly might have been inconsistent and volatile to make you attracted to this type of work. The constant seeking approval. A lot of us creatives have gone through hard lives where we have to seek approval for someone. It might have been a parent, a grandparent, a teacher, a friend. Or you also picked a career where you have to constantly seek approval, where you're always trying to show, I'm such a good girl, I'm such a good boy, I'm so talented, I'm so this, I'm that. You're constantly doing that in this business. I know we get a little psychological, we get a little esoteric, but as I talked about this industry attracts a lot of insecure people and narcissism. Now listen, narcissism is a spectrum, and we all are on the spectrum in some way. But we got to ask ourselves, is this need for accolades? Is it come from somewhere else, right? Hoping one day we pop off and get millions of dollars. Does it come from growing up with lack? So just a couple questions I think we should ask. Anyway, very deep, very deep. I didn't expect to go on this long a rant, but tis. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you leave a comment, share, subscribe, share this with your film production and movie loving friends. If you are interested in possibly financially supporting this channel, not saying you have to, but if you're interested in it, because like I said, your girl is basically laid off, you can do so by submitting a Cash App or a one-time donation via PayPal. I have the links and my Cash App tag in the description box below, and I will catch up with you guys in the next one. See ya.